Now, I don't necessarily do a lot of videos where I talk about myself, essentially, mainly because I don't necessarily think it's that important. But also at the same time, as the channel kind of grows too, and then, as things kind of keep happening, and more people probably would like to hear a little bit more about the person behind, all this. I think it's okay to teach, or at least let people learn some things about yourself, right? There ain't no shame in that, obviously. Like, you obviously don't give people like your social security number or something like that, because that's insane. But let people learn some stuff about you that's okay to learn. So this one's gonna be a bit cringy, a bit out of place from the usual content, but it is what it is. And I have three different reasons for why we're doing this video. One major reason why is because a long time ago, I used to like someone. I ain't gonna necessarily go into the full details, but recently I found out that they had a new partner or someone in their life, and I ain't gonna necessarily lie. I feel kind of shitty. I really do. So when it comes down to things, I also put this together to try to make this video, and after thinking about it for a while and kind of just sitting on this information, that's where we kind of at. Second reason why is because I just thought making a video like this would be kind of fun, at least for you to learn. And technically, I've already told you the truth about this a few times in the past or certain videos, but I always sprinkle it around in different ones. So let's just make one definitive ass video for it. And then number three, recently, every single time I'm looking up some information or doing something, I'm hearing something about relationships or seeing it as I'm out and going to do something. And it's just like, bro, why is it happening every time? And it's only just recently after I was watching my church program where essentially if your heart is essentially like feeling some negative way or feeling some positive way, it usually comes out, and that's what is out in your environment. I know a lot of people don't believe all that, but that's what I just learned. But anyway, so that's like a third new reason why, and it kind of makes sense considering what I've been through recently. So when it comes down to things, as you know, my personal preference when it comes to women, honestly, is Asians. Let's just get out of the way. Yes, I know that sounds cringy as hell. I feel cringe just saying it out loud, but it is what it is. It just has a whole ass history with me ever since I was a kid. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Yes, I also realized that black people and Asian people, that relationship sometimes don't hit right. Sometimes that relationship don't work, and it's rare to see, at least in my area, rare to see, a black person and an Asian person get together in any shape and form. I don't usually ever really see that. The closest thing you're gonna see that, honestly, is if you watch adult content, and that's about it, right? And that's not really a relationship, that's just work, honestly. So, and there's only one time where I actually seen that type of relationship actually be a thing, and I'm just like, ever since I saw that too, that made me kind of be like, all right, I gotta aim for that, or like I gotta get something like that, in some shape and form. I don't know, and I'm gonna just be real and honest and truthful with you on this video too, So just come along with me, and you'll see a world of pure cringiness, because that's how I'm gonna be, honestly, with this whole entire video. Now, obviously, if you paid attention to a lot of the culture, then you would know that there is a fair amount of Asian people still in 2023 who does not know what a black person look like, honestly. And I ain't talking about like your American Asian people, but I'm talking about like people that's overseas, like Japan and parts of China, and really just China in general. But still, they don't necessarily know what a black person actually look like. And majority of the time, you will see in a lot of media and in real life as well, that they usually would go for, people of their own race, which is fine, or white people. Now, don't get me wrong, white people, I still F with y'all, but damn, why do y'all be taking all of the people that we would like to be around? Like, can y'all chill, bro? Bro, can we get some Hispanics to go over there and actually get them a good time and have a chance? Can we go over there? Like, calm the hell down. Let us get a part of that, white people. But anyway, when it comes down to things, that's mainly what you will see. And, again, it is what it is. But still, that doesn't necessarily mean that you should give up if that's something that you just want to do, right? So why the hell does my southern black dumb ass want to get with an Asian person so bad? Or at least have that preference, honestly? Well, you can thank one person for that, honestly. And that's Jackie Chan. I'll be honest with you. Jackie Chan is my favorite actor of all time. He is. Yes, I know that he has a lot of bad takes when it comes to certain things, especially China related, right? But at the end of the day, you still have to respect this man as an actor too, especially with all the stunts that he's done over the years. Like he shouldn't be here, but he honestly is, and he has endured all those stunts and injuries and stuff like that, and it's just amazing. Honestly, I've seen damn near all of his movies, damn near. And when it comes down to things, I want to say my favorite movie was Miracle, or like Black Dragon or whatever it was. It was basically when Jackie Chan was like a mob boss and he had to help out this Rose lady and basically get her daughter to marry some rich dude. And then, that was like a whole thing. And that was like a really fun movie, man, because Jackie wasn't a police officer in that one. He was different. He had a different role. He wasn't like a super mega ultra hero type character. He was just like, your average Joe found on the street who tried to do some good, right? And then there's like a few other movies I really like Drunken Master, like the original old Drunken Master. That was really good. The Snake and the Crane. I don't necessarily know what movie that title was, but that was really good as well. Like there's a lot of movies that Jackie's been in that is really good outside of things like Rush Hour, because people only will be like, oh, I want to see Rush Hour or some of his children movies, but no, there's plenty of other movies that's out there. Like his first act, like I think the movie called First Action, or like another movie that was like Mr. Nice Guy, The Medallion. Oh my gosh, The Medallion slaps. But when it comes down to things, I often grew up watching a lot of his movies, and was honestly inspired by a lot of his work and all that type of stuff, right? Even go so far as to watch Disney's old ass show, Jackie Chan Adventures, which, let's be honest, Jade deserves a lot more respect, honestly, because she's just like Gwen, and she's just like, Penny from Inspector Gadget, and all the other type of lolly characters too. Like, let's be perfectly honest, Jade should be up there in a lot of people's minds. Like, she should definitely get the respect that she deserves. Yet, there's not a lot of content, and it makes me kind of mad. I'm not gonna hold you. But yeah, definitely. Jade was like the first fictional character with Asian ethnicity that I actually was like, huh, interesting. I still didn't feel anything, obviously, because I was just like, well, it's a character at the end of the day. What am I supposed to feel for that? And I didn't know what to necessarily do with it. I thought she was cute, but I didn't necessarily think anything of it, honestly. So that was like the first really big part of things that kind of led into how I kind of end up being. And then overall, as time kind of go by, as I kind of grow older, I started getting into other things and more deeper into anime at the time. And then I ended up seeing Tekken Hybrid. Well, getting the game of Tekken Hybrid, which is like Tekken Tag 1 and 2 on the PS3 with the movie of Tekken Blood Vengeance. Which, that movie, looking back on it, is ass. And I totally agree. But at the time, I thought it was the greatest movie in the world. Because I'd never seen a video game movie before. Outside of Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. But at the same time, I didn't know much about Final Fantasy VII. And every time I catch Advent Children, that shit was always at the ending of it on HBO. Which was some nonsense. But anyway. So, when I saw Tekken Blood Vengeance for the first time, I think it was cool, it was badass and stuff and all that type of stuff, right? However, when I saw, and I said this in the first fighting game waifu video, when I saw Xiao Yu, I just awoken, honestly. My whole body just awoken into something different. Like, it's like I'm looking at a different world when I first saw Xiao Yu. Because I was like, wait a minute, why is she so beautiful? What is this? Right? And that was my brain watching that shit as I was kind of just, watching more scenes of the movie and kind of seeing how things are. And I'm just like, she's beautiful. What in the hell? I'm like, wait a minute. Is this how Asian women look like? And that was literally my first thought when I first saw Xiao Yu, right? And that was like she was like the real definitive first person that, had like an accurate-ish look of what those type of women look like. Obviously, not everybody looks like that. I grew older and wiser, and I'm more mature about things, obviously. But that, as a kid, in my mind, I was like, holy crap, this is amazing, right? And that's what made me like Tekken, honestly. You wanna know why I like Tekken? Outside the music, it's Xiao Yu. That's the reason why. Even though I don't use her, but still, That was the reason why. But ever since then, and then kind of just getting older, I've seen more adult content and seeing how, more people are of that ethnicity is, and then kind of just vibing with it a little bit more and stuff like that. And now I don't necessarily, and I'm pretty sure if you haven't really seen anybody outside your own race, or you see like a new race of people, stuff like that. Now, people often say, people look the same when it comes to certain people when you never really seen a lot of them before. And I would say that's kind of true because let's be honest, when a person, well, hell, in Rush Hour, there was like when Carter was trying to run up the damn stairs to get to Jackie, that old Chinese lady was like, "Get out the way, Kobe." I'm like, what? So, I feel like if you don't necessarily see a lot of people of your race, of a new race or something like that, you're gonna think, oh, everybody looks the same, honestly. And that's kind of how my brain was because I never really seen a lot of people in real life that were Asian ethnicity. And I was just like, huh, well, this is a bit different than what I'm used to, but I welcome the change. And when it comes down to things, I started making like other friends in high school too that were also a part of Asian ethnicity. And then I slowly started to realize, okay, everybody looks different. There's like different features here and here, different cultures and different ways that people are, and you slowly start learning, that everybody looks different. And even when one person shared the same race as another, you start learning that everybody looks different. And that's what you have to kind of grow up and learn and stuff, right? Especially again in an area for me where a lot of Asian people don't be at, so for me to see that, it's like, huh, so everybody is looking pretty damn different. Okay, that's pretty unique. I didn't necessarily think that was gonna be the case, but okay, I welcome the change. That's fine, right? Like, to be honest with you, just spend time with people that you probably don't really see often, or you just, look around at them, and then you'll see like, oh, okay, I can understand where this is coming from now. And that's kind of how it was for me, right? So when it comes down to things, obviously, after the whole thing with Tekken and stuff, I was like, okay, you know what? My preference is set. I gotta give me an Asian lady at some point in time. Because you know what? I'm gonna need that. So, obviously, this doesn't come with, honestly, the history lesson is essentially over, but this doesn't necessarily come with, like, failures of your attempts, which I have failed about 3 damn times. Granted, more so too, but 3 damn times essentially. And when it comes down to things, does that, I would say, put a damper on the plans I will have when it comes to it? No, not necessarily. Like, do not get me wrong, I do feel like complete and utter trash sometimes, but at the same time, like, well, granted, it was more so like crushes than it was actually like a thing, right? But still, nonetheless, it still sucks that I didn't necessarily get the goal of what I wanted, right? And that doesn't necessarily put a damper on what I like, honestly, and what I would like to go for. But, it's like, okay, that possibility is very real and it will happen and it will hurt like absolute hell, right? So, when it comes down to things, at the end of all this history lesson of what you learned about your boy, which is trash, but when it comes down to things, I still, would like to give it a fair chance. Still like to see what is out there for a possibility of your boy trying to be with somebody, right? Because at the end of the day, and I know somebody might be like, oh, so you just like Asian women, but not your own black queens? Who are you, racist? No, that is not how that goes. Because there's some absolutely beautiful black women that is out there. There's absolutely beautiful people that has wonderful voices. Alice has a wonderful voice. She's black and she's nice. I imagine she's probably beautiful as well. But when it comes down to things, it's not that I don't necessarily, think, oh, there's no one in my own race as good. It's just the fact that I just have a preference. That's literally is what it is. If it happens to be with a black woman, I'd be more than happy to spend my time with them. But I just have that preference of like, okay, I would like to go for this though to see how it is, right? And that's just kind of how I am, honestly. I am, I would say I am very stubborn when it comes to not giving up on certain things, and this is definitely one of them. I'm like, if I can find somebody that is mature enough and, want to reciprocate those feelings for what I would have for them and them back to me, then I would like to give that a fair shake, honestly. A proper fair shake. And if things don't work out, then it's like, okay, it doesn't have to be super set in stone that that's the ultimate way to go, right? At least that's for me, right? That's just for me. People might be different, other people might be different, and that's fine. But that is what it is for me. But don't judge me for what I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to speak on. Like, your ass probably has a preference right now, viewer. Like, the 10% of females in my audience might have a preference too. And I'm actually shocked there's 10% of females that's actually watching me. Holy shit. But when it comes down to things, at the end of it though, I just want to give it a fair shake, see what happens in a proper relationship, and see if things can go well. Because I would like I said before, many times, I would like to just be in a relationship and let that be the person that I end up marrying at some point, and then that be it, honestly. I don't feel like doing the whole runaround. I don't feel like, having one night stands, which I definitely don't want to do because that'll be worse than actually just trying to talk to that person in the first damn place and all that type of stuff. I want to, meet up with somebody, see how they are, kind of see where our, selves are when it comes to alignment in some shape or form of a relationship, get married at some point, have some kids, and then that's about it, right? That's the whole game plan, at least for me, right? I wouldn't say I'm very old fashioned, but I have an old fashioned sense of thinking of how I would kind of go about things, right? Mainly because I've been grown up by, 1960 people. But when it comes down to things, it's just like, well, that's just kind of how it is for me personally. That's how I was raised, how I grew up, and how I'm supposed to be doing certain things, right? So that's just kind of how my whole situation is when it comes down to that. I also know that like smashing before marriage is also like a common ass thing that people do. But at the same time, I'm gonna try to wait, right? I can't promise you anything, but I'm going to try to wait and see how things kind of go, right? Because if she looking kind of right, if she looking a little too seductive, and she's just doing stuff, but we'll see how that kind of goes, right? But when it comes down to things, though, I don't really have like a solid preference when it comes to like a specific type of Asian person, right? Because I know somebody will be like, okay, you like Asian women. Cool. What kind though? From what place? Like, do you like some Chinese? Do you like Japanese, Korean, Filipino? What's your preference, man? Thailand? We have all types. And when it comes down to things, I'm just like, I don't really have too much of a preference. Like, I don't really care too much to have one choice, obviously, right? If they just come through, they come through. That's kind of how it is. It's like whatever to me. But if I had to pick, I would say it would be Japanese or Chinese. Honestly, I don't necessarily mind that, right? You know, like, and another thing too. I guess that kind of has to play into it. Is hopefully that if I do decide to go out the country and find somebody, I'm hoping the English is really good because obviously, if you don't have a nice English, or at least can't speak the same language, things gonna get very shitty very fast, and it's not necessarily gonna be great. So hopefully that will not be an issue. So when it comes down to things, though, that's just like how it is. But yeah, again, preference wise of specific types, I don't necessarily have one, but if I had to choose, it would be Chinese or Japanese. Honestly, I don't necessarily mind. Korean, maybe a slight bit Korean. Who knows? But that's just me at the end of the day. And if I had to do one last thing about preference regarding anything, I guess we have to talk about body because obviously people have, different ideas of what the perfect mate should be like for them. But to be honest, as long as the person is loyal as shit and is respectable and doesn't cheat, honestly, and personally for me, like an actual, Christian, then everything else is, secondary, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But if we had to go that route, honestly, realistically, I don't even have a preference if they have, like, big boobs or not, honestly. Like, they could be flat as a board, or, well, I don't want them flat as a board, but, like, they could have, like, a B cup, that'd be fine. But, like, if they don't have massive jugs or not, then I don't necessarily care. I can go either or on that one. Now, she does have to have some type of cake. I'm not gonna hold you, because I ain't trying to slap a whole ass 2x4. I'm not trying to do that. No, have at least a little bit. You don't have to have much, obviously, but You can have something. If I ain't grabbing onto nothing or getting a slap nothing, I'm mad. I'm absolutely mad. But when it comes down to things, just have a little bit of something in the bag. That's just for me, honestly. Obviously, being mad horny for me will be also a nice thing to have. Again, another thing that's very optional that will happen. Granted, I would like to do a lot of things, but still, nonetheless, if that can come through, would also be happy. That will be a solid ass thing. So that way I don't necessarily have to feel, like I'm striving to try to get some water out here because I'm being fed the whole damn ocean, which will be great. But when it comes down to things, that would be a nice thing. And obviously I would say I'd like another thing would be, and a more serious note, I would say possibly having a nice stable mental self, right? Mental health is obviously important, and there's a lot of women out there, a lot of women that has very messed up mental problems and trauma and things of that sort. I would like to have my wife to be fine mentally, right? She doesn't have to be perfect, obviously no one is, but I would like to have her to be mentally fine, because I don't know if realistically if I would want to deal with somebody with certain problems or have certain trauma and things like that. So if she can be fine mentally, that's an A plus in my book. That's like a thing I need 100%, right? So, and I guess I can throw in some humbleness and some truthfulness as well while we in here. That's the reason why I like Kudere characters, because some of them are humble and some of them just tell you the straight up truth about how they feel. Which I don't got time to play a cat and mouse game of how do you feel? I don't know. I ain't got time for that type of nonsense. Just tell me the truth of what you feel and how you're feeling, and that's about it, honestly. Just keep it a stack with me. That's what I really like to see. So overall, when it comes to that side of things, is obviously first be a Christian person, which that kind of singles out a lot of Asian people already. Secondly, if we could, but again, you don't necessarily have to be super duper deep, right? Because look at me, look at the content I make. Is this something that a person of Christian belief should make? Absolutely not. But I do it anyway. But essentially, be a Christian, honestly. That's number one. Have big boobs, small boobs, doesn't necessarily matter to me. I can go either way. A little bit of cake in the back. I'm gonna need that, honestly. And then mental health is fine. And then obviously the loyalty and the respect and being truthful to what you are and who you are. And that's also like something that is absolutely fine, right? And that's essentially it at the end of all things, right? You don't want, and the thing is too, a lot of people, especially in America, when it comes to like really California ass women or like some other women that is like super all about money and things like that and social media and stuff like that, there's been too many damn women I've seen that has just honestly just been like, oh, if they ain't making this amount of money in this amount of way and this sort of things to support me, then I'm dumping their ass, or they gonna be, not necessarily in the league of things that they can have with me. And that's some trash shit. Let's just be honest with you. Don't get me wrong, a woman should be taken care of in some way, but also I feel like vice versa, it should go back to like the guy can't just do everything by himself, right? If he's taking care of you financially, especially, the best thing you could do is at least be by his side, right? I know I just shook the hell out of some people when I said that, but it's true, right? I'm just gonna be honest with you. If I'm making some bank off of YouTube, the most you could do is at least hug me every now and then just pay attention to some of my needs while I try to pay attention to yours as well, and then just help each other out, vice versa. That's the whole point of you being partners in a relationship, right? That's the whole point, to care for each other. If you're not caring for each other, what the hell are y'all together for? But honestly, the reason again I made this video was very clear from the jump for the different three things of why I've done this. I'm also kind of doing this too to kind of put this video in the atmosphere for people of just whoever wants to watch it, one, and then two, maybe in a long shot ass, I ain't gonna even say that, maybe in a way someone might come through after seeing this video, might check all the boxes, or the universe hears me in some shape and form and then sends the right woman in my life, and that will be perfectly fine, right? Granted, at this point in time, I'll be honest with you, I can't take care of you. I can't even take care of myself. I don't even know how to drive, lady. I don't even have money. You see this? This is my bank account right now. This is horrible. I don't have any type of money to go on a date or anything like that. But definitely, again, if someone wants to come through and still, for some reason, get sent in there for the right reason, then oh, absolutely, I would be more than happy to, spend time with said person, see what they about, see if we can vibe with each other, obviously. But, you just never really know, honestly. Because sometimes when it comes down to matters of the heart, it's not necessarily about the performance or what you have, honestly. Some fine, nice lady could easily come through and just go pick the ugliest and poorest guy because she just likes that guy, honestly, for his character and who he is and stuff like that, right? So it's never completely, you know, impossible, but the chance of it, of you wanting to present yourself to be better, is obviously there, obviously. But never try to put yourself down, especially if you're a guy who really wants to talk to somebody that you think you can't necessarily do that. I tried, I failed, but hey, I'd rather try than not know, honestly. And when it comes down to things and those failures, I know what to kind of, I guess, look for myself, honestly, and kind of see what kind of stance I have for, again, myself, and even if I don't necessarily know everything when it comes to, relationships and things that women do and stuff like that, I still at least put this out here as a, I guess, kind of like a goal in some shape or form. Like, damn, this is what I'm trying to look for. This is what I have. Honestly, I gotta be like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. You will pay for the massacre of my clan. I will not stop until I get my revenge. Honestly, don't stop until you get your goal. Honestly, that's kind of how it is, at least for me, right? So, and I guess another thing, if I had to add one last thing, I keep adding shit. But when it comes down to things, if I would like to add one more thing too, obviously, please, for the love of everything, let the woman I'm dealing with have similarities to me. Basically, like similar things, like anime and games. So she doesn't come through and be like, why you always on that game? Or why you always watching anime and not spend time with me? Bitch, sit your ass down so we can watch this shit or play this shit together. Do you not know? This is how it is, right? Like, I don't want somebody that's completely opposite of me, but I would like them to be a little bit different, but not completely opposite from some of the things that I like, or talk down about it or something like that, right? I want somebody to just vibe with some of the things that I can do, and we can vibe together, and that's fine, right? That's what I absolutely like. I ain't got time to be dealing with someone that's like trashy as hell, who does not respect your hobbies or what you like to do, and then all of a sudden be next thing that knowing is chucking your PS5 out the damn balcony, and then you about to chuck them out the balcony as well. So, got no time for that. But again, at the end of all things, at the end of this whole discussion, this long ass 30 ass minute video, when it comes down to things, that's just me. Again, all this stuff, this is just my thoughts and all how I thought as a kid to now, my personal preferences. Again, I can go with anybody, but if I had to choose, settling down with a nice Japanese or Chinese lady, or just an Asian in general, would just be the absolute pinnacle and peakness of everything. And again, you never know. Someone might actually just pop through after this video goes live, and then, a nice Japanese lady might start talking. We might actually start doing some things, and maybe I get to go to Tokyo and we get to hang out and stuff. And that would be nice. Support your senpai for once, gosh darn it. So that's essentially all I have for you today. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification everywhere else. If you're a nice Asian lady that actually is not a bot on Twitter, please hit my DMs up. And when it comes down to things, Patreon is a thing that you can do. I don't know if I said that already, but you can do that, and that'll be a nice support for me, honestly. Super thanks is also a thing, and a lot of other monetization options now are on the channel, which, that's the thing. Also, somebody bought a super thanks once, so thank you. And until then, this is your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.